Hi everybody, it's Charlie again and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I actually have a degree in business analytics, so I can use my data analytics skills to analyze business data to see how a company performs. So here I am trying to analyze the data of K-pop companies and try to explain those K-pop companies by data. Here we go.
K-pop entertainment companies play significant roles in K-pop industry. These talent agencies train trainees to become idols, select excellent trainees to form idol groups, and keep managing their group activities after they debut. This system was created by SM Entertainment in 1995. Because of the great success of SM's first K-pop group, H.O.T., this kind of system was widely adopted by other agencies and made K-pop industry develop very fast. Now, there are already 231 K-pop companies. Among them, 6 greatest companies went public. They are SM, YG, Big Hit, JYP, FNC, and Cube. I obtained the 6 companies' financial data from Wall Street Journal from 2015 to 2019 and analyzed their performance. Here are some of my insights driven by the data above. SM Entertainment has always been the leader in K-pop industry. It has most revenue and keeps growing. As I mentioned in my last K-pop data analysis, SM had the most groups, 15 groups, and the most successful groups and idols. Big Hit Entertainment, home to BTS, was a small company before. After the great success of BTS, Big Hit went public and acquired several other K-pop agencies in 2018 and had the second highest revenue afterwards. Its revenue kept growing because of the great success of BTS. YG Entertainment has always been having great amount of revenue but began falling since 2017, maybe due to the burning song scandal. When YG's artist Sung Lee and YG's founder Young Hyun Suk faced criticisms for this scandal in 2017, YG had a tremendous negative impact and even its stock price tumbled. JYP, FNC, and Cube had comparatively lower revenues than the 3 companies mentioned above. FNC and Cube did not have significant change in their revenues. However, JYP's revenue kept growing steadily. In 2015, JYP's revenue was 50 billion won, but it doubled in 2017 and tripled in 2019. This is probably because of the great success of TWICE. When JYP debuted the girl group TWICE in 2015, TWICE's popularity kept rising up and became the most successful group of JYP. Although K-pop companies have large-scale business, this industry is not so profitable. When we look at the net incomes of the 6 companies, we can see that only JYP is making steady growth of net income. Cube almost had no income in recent years, while FNC were always losing money. SM and YG have the same pattern. They stayed profitable but both tumbled at 2019. Big Hit was making a great leap from 2018 to 2019. Maybe Big Hit will be the future leader of K-pop industry. Among all K-pop companies, SM, YG, and JYP earn the name Big 3. They represent 3 best K-pop companies in the industry because they have long history of managing most successful K-pop groups. Although FNC and Cube also have long history, their groups are not as successful as Big 3's. Although Big Hit has the most successful group, its history is not as long as Big 3. Therefore, I will analyze Big 3 as the representatives of K-pop industry. In Western world, singers are also their songwriters and usually start their career as launch singers. When they gradually gain fame, they sign labels which release songs for them. However, K-pop's system is very industrialized. K-pop is more company-oriented rather than singer-oriented. K-pop companies are like star factories. K-pop stars are built as the companies train their own trainees. Then, company debut the groups as their franchise. Company decides strategies to promote and manage group activities. Let's take a look at SM Entertainment's groups first. As we can see, in recent years, SM Entertainment debuts a new boy group every 4 years and a new girl group every 5 to 6 years. Because K-pop groups' popularity cannot last long. Companies usually keep debuting new groups to keep having profitable artists. Usually, companies will debut a new group when their last group was at the top of their career or their popularity started decreasing. After a year or two, the old group may not be so successful, but the new group started to shine. For example, SM's girl groups Girls' Generation and FX were both super girl groups in 2014. Later in 2014, Jessica's departure from Girls' Generation and Sully's hiatus from FX made a negative impact on the groups and the companies. That year, SM debuted the new girl group Red Velvet. After a while, Girls' Generation and FX both suffered great loss of popularity, but Red Velvet quickly developed and caught the relay on. You may notice that in earlier years, SM debuted groups more frequently. For example, Trax debuted a year later than TVXQ, and Super Junior also debuted a year later than Trax. However, these groups were actually very different. This is because the agency do not want their groups to compete with each other, so all groups can be more profitable. Trax was not a typical idol group, but a rock band. Though Super Junior is also a mainstream K-pop group just like TVXQ, Super Junior had 12 members rather than 5 members. As I mentioned in the last K-pop data analysis, the average number of group members is 5.5. Therefore, we can say that groups having fewer than 6 members are small groups. Groups having over 7 members are big groups. Big groups' charisma is usually the spectacular group dance and the diversity of group members. Small groups' charisma is usually the talents of individual group members because they can each draw more attention from fans. This kind of difference reduced the competition between the groups active in the same era. According to this pattern, after 4 years of NCT's debut in 2016, SM should have debuted a new boy group in 2020. But NCT is quite different because SM keeps adding new idols to NCT. Therefore, SM did not need to debut a new boy group in 2020, but debuted the new girl group aespa in 2020 after 6 years of Red Velvet's debut. Another interesting pattern is that the groups focus on different international markets to avoid competition. SM is famous for expanding their group's activities to K-pop's largest international markets, Japan and China. SM had different strategies for these countries. The company takes Chinese members in their groups so that Chinese members attract Chinese fans. As for Japanese market, the company seldom takes Japanese idols but train Korean artists to speak Japanese, translates their songs into Japanese, and perform Japanese versions of their original Korean songs. My personal opinion about the cause of this difference is that it is easy for Koreans to learn Japanese. Korean and Japanese languages are very similar as for their grammar and vocabulary, but Chinese is way more different. On the other hand, it is easy to recruit Chinese trainees than Japanese trainees, because Japan also has a very developed J-pop idol industry. The company needs to move their whole K-pop groups to perform in Japan, partnering with Japanese agency AVEX to compete with J-pop idol groups. But China's idol industry is not as developed as Japan and Korea. Solo activities are more welcomed in China. Many Chinese idols are willing to be trained in Korea to be more competitive and go back to China for solo activities. Therefore, different patterns for Chinese and Japanese markets maximizes the company's profits. This kind of system was also adopted by other agencies. TVXQ sing Japanese songs and gained great success in Japan. The next group, Super Junior, had Chinese members and sing more Chinese songs than Japanese songs because they focus on Chinese markets. This switch between China and Japan continues through the later groups to avoid competitions, but it stopped at NCT. After 2017, China had political conflicts with South Korea and began obstructing K-pop's development in China. SM's strategy was letting NCT have Japanese members and sing Japanese songs for the market in Japan, and debuted a Chinese subunit of NCT, WayV, only active in China. China's policy change poses a great barrier for K-pop's activities in China, and it may cause K-pop companies to adopt more new patterns. Now let us look at another big three company, JYP. JYP also adopted similar strategy for group management. It keeps debuting new groups. There are long time gaps between the same type groups and short time gaps between different type groups. Day6's debut was close to GOT7, but Day6 is a rock band. 15and's debut was close to Miss A, but 15and is a duo. Since the time gap between Day6 and Stray Kids is 3 years, I predict that JYP will debut a new boy group in 2021. However, JYP's strategy for international markets are different from SM in recent years. JYP only tried taking Chinese members in Miss A, but it was not very successful in China. Although the Hong Kong member of GOT7, Jackson, was very successful in China. After China's policy change, JYP did not seek development in China very much. JYP took 3 Japanese members for twice, also managed their group activities in Japan, and achieved great success in Japan. JYP was also ambitious in entering Western markets. The company used to send Wonder Girls to US to perform in earlier years, but it was not successful. But as K-pop became more and more popular in Western countries, JYP tried to expand the new girl group ITZY's markets to Western countries again by releasing English versions of their songs. Another strategy of JYP was to let the idols participate in survival reality shows when they were trainees, so that the idols draw public attention before they debut. YG's strategy is also like the other two companies. However, it has fewer groups, but each group's revenue was still very high. It might be possible for YG to debut a new girl group in near future. YG's international strategy is also different. All of YG's groups sings Japanese songs. Treasure also has a Japanese member, but the company never has a Chinese member nor released a Chinese song. The company also values the markets in Southeast Asia by managing Thai idol Lisa of Blackpink and Korean Filipino idol Dara. Big Bang and Blackpink also achieved enormous popularity in Western countries. Blackpink promote themselves in Western countries by having collabs with Western singers such as Lady Gaga, Dua Lipa, and Selena Gomez. This kind of pattern was a newly successful strategy for K-pop's development in Western countries. Notably, Big Hit Entertainment's BTS also used the same strategy. This is my interpretation of K-pop companies by data. If you also have other interesting data to share, please definitely comment below, and thank you for watching. If you like it, please give me thumbs up. Thank you very much. I'll see you next time.